This is Margaret Ann Windsor. That's my real name. I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace, 1941. I was born in 39. I was brought over and dropped off in Moulton, Alabama, out on a pigsty called a farm, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. Both twins, Carl and Peggy, were dead, and their mother had killed them. Lina had killed them. They were born out of wedlock, and the family covered it up. I only found out about my real name and kidnapping in 1983 when I was in a political campaign to replace Larry McDonald, a congressman doctor I'd written about, and I wrote on mind control and what can be done with it, programming people, modifying their behavior, and having them kill or their decision-making altered to where someone else controls it, the one doing the programming. Now then, hustler Larry Flint was shot next door in Lawrenceville while I was doing the book in Marietta, Georgia, and his attorney was killed. And this is where an article where he tells that I knew who was responsible for his shooting and all that, April of '84. Now then, I had a letter at that same time, right after I was doing the book, and his shooting, June the 23rd of '79, from the FBI, U.S. Attorney William Harper. And Baker, James Baker, was the assistant, and he co-signed, or signed for him. Now then, the letter to me said national security involved, ongoing investigation. Well, the ongoing part is I've been through hell. Not one person has paid for anything. They've kept on beating me up. You talk about a person whipped up on. And by the way, I want to mention this. With the letter from the FBI, I was filled full of antifreeze April Fool's Day of '80, which today is April the 2nd, 2014. The only thing that's happened is I have been through a living hell with so many laws broken against me. It's unbelievable. So Edward Snowden just really touched the iceberg, tip of the iceberg, because the real thing is mind control and the New World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, have control. And mind control is part of the way you get it. And Elizabeth, by the way, this is my father, King Edward VIII. And he was wed to my mom, Claudia O'Keefe, artist Georgia O'Keefe's sister. And this is the O'Keefes. They were Irish-American. They had nothing to do with the British are not the bad guys, believe me. It's part of my family and the New World Order, Illuminati, which Elizabeth is part of, and Charles, and then my relative, same relation to me as it is to Elizabeth in the Netherlands, former Queen Beatrix. They're all part of the New World Order, so they sold out. This is my Uncle George in '39, the illegal monarch that helped take his brother down and kidnap me. This is Roosevelt, '39, planning my kidnapping. My father was never married to Wallace Simpson. The whole thing in a 99-year seal was a lie. This is an imposter. And they kidnapped me. And Joe Kennedy, JFK's father, was the ambassador appointed by Roosevelt back then. And I'm being redundant because I have to give a background on this. This is, I've tried to tell about how, in the book, how murders were being done, or accidents, in patterns. And before 77, 78, I knew they were being done, but I didn't know the mechanism used, and that's mind control. They can create an illness, they can cure it, they can make it look like you've committed suicide, they can make you go out and shoot someone like Zimmerman is a good, his whole thing, George Zimmerman, he's under mind control. He's a victim. That's a mind control that happened, let me put it that way. And he has the classic signs of it. Now then, I'll show this one. This is Sandy Hook. And well, let me just say this. Those are the mind control murders. Mass are just single murders. And the Virginia Tech, which is right next door to me, there's been a slew of them, but 33 that were killed there. You can make place a pilot or a co-pilot or air marshal under mind control. They don't know it, so they have no defense against it. And you can have them fly into the ocean, like Larry McDonald, the doctor congressman I wrote about, August the 31st. Well, they flew into Russian airspace and the Russians shot it down, but you make them fly into another airspace. Now, I want to say this real quick. This is Timothy McVeigh, and he was put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing, and people hate him. He's a victim of mind control. And this is, he told everybody that the U.S. Army put an implant up his butt. And they did. Now then, this is Elizabeth Noller, Glory, and of course her grandsons are Harry and William. They're illegal. Look at the brood that's living off. I'm Victoria II, the real heir. She and her father gave Great Britain away. They illegally signed treaties that allowed the United States to put all its military bases all over everything British and hold them hostage. Now then, I'm only going to show, I'm getting worked over where I am. I'm getting gassed, and you try to tell someone, and the cops, no one will listen. The FBI, they made me look like, if you wanted to, like I'm a flake, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to just give you part of, I'm getting soaked in chemicals. And I've even put on here, and this is going to go out, a state trooper, Carl, using the twins' name. They've used pattern names. Carl Barton and his wife Linda, retired Virginia state troopers, told me, and I won't get into where I've put it on other videos, this is how we make you run with chemicals. And the night before, they were hosts up where I was paying to tent and get fresh air, and I had fuel. I'm talking about fuel put all over my Sierra tent in the middle of the night. And so I started thinking after they told me that, well, who was responsible for that? So here's the part I want to say. They lived in Galax, Virginia. Now then, part of the patterns is I've tried to tell people about the coolant system, how you can come in, you get maintenance, and I'm allergic to chemicals. It makes my immune system attack itself, and my liver and kidneys, there's nothing funny about it. It can kill you. Only mine has been over time. They have control where I've lived. If I lived, they've come up on the Appalachian Trail, you can get people to do anything if you have a badge or you get something on them. They come up and spray my tent when I had a tent and a place to stay. And the only way to get away from, like chemicals, you have to get away from them. Like if it's your environment, your apartment, and you're being force-fed, and that's what they've done, then you'll eventually die. It tears your liver and everything down, kidneys, veins. And people, it's not a conventional murder weapon, okay, to have people, if you're lucky enough, and this is going to go off, I know it now. I wanted to say April the 2nd is today. Yesterday, April the 1st, goes back 34 years to Laurelwood Apartments in Marietta. When I got the letter from the FBI and when I was still full of antifreeze. I lived at Laurelwood Apartments, and April Fool's Day I was still full, I said the antifreeze. Now then, I want to get into what they've just done yesterday on April the 1st with what's going on with me here at Airport Quality Inn. They had a produce, chicken produce, in Twin County. It was called Virginia Produce. They hauled all the people off that were sick from putting the wrong coolant in the coolant system, air conditioning system. Twin County, which has been used in it, Laurel Ambulance, and so forth and so on, if anybody cares to look it up. Now, I don't know what else I was going to say at the moment. If maybe that was it. I just wanted to give you an insight because they've killed me with it. And right now, when I go and check in to pay,